Hi there, welcome back to our video series on the care and keeping of houseplants. In case you missed it, we've already talked about picking the right plant for you, how to get plants, tips for basic care, and a spotlight on succulents. In this video, I'm going to talk about common problems you might encounter and how to address them. I'll start with a reminder that anytime you buy a plant, it's important to do research on what it needs. So many of the common houseplants that we keep in our living rooms come from really different climates. So if you have a succulent that's used to growing in the desert and a pothos that usually grows in a tropical climate, they're going to have really different needs for care. That said, let's jump in and talk about some signs that your plant is not living its best life. The first problem that you might encounter is limp or droopy leaves. This is probably the most common issue, and usually the culprit is watering problems. So you could actually be either over or under watering, which sounds really intimidating, but you'll probably be able to figure out which one based on how much you water it. If you're not really sure or you feel like you're giving it a balanced amount of water, check the soil and see if it's staying really moist or if it's dried out really bad. Adjust the watering as needed and see if that helps. If you have been giving it a lot of water for a long time, droopy leaves could be a sign of a bigger problem called root rot. If you suspect that it's root rot, go ahead and take the plant out of the soil, check the roots for any black or mushy or unhealthy looking roots, wash off the plant gently, trim off any roots that seem to be a problem, change out the soil in case there's any fungus growing in there, and then replant your plant. Just remember not to water it for about a week or so that the roots can heal and it can adjust to the new pot. A second problem that you might encounter is yellow, brown, or otherwise abnormally colored leaves. There could be a few things going on here. So this is another telltale sign of watering issues. Follow the steps that I described a few moments ago and check and see if you might be giving it too much or too little water and adjust as needed. If the edges are turning brown or it's getting kind of crispy, it could be a humidity problem. And the obvious solution there is to put a humidifier near the plants, but you could also just move it to a different area of the house that's more naturally humid, like a bathroom or a kitchen. So this plant is a calathea, and they're notoriously humidity sensitive, so I've had it in the bathroom and that's still not quite enough humidity for it, so a lot of the edges of the leaves are kind of brown like this. If your plant is losing some of its color or variegation, it may be an issue with how much light it's getting. So this one I've had trouble figuring out where I want to put it, and when I first bought the plant it had these really nice dark green leaves with the saturated red tips. Some of the new leaves that are coming in are a lot paler, they're kind of a pink color with a lighter green. And that's because it probably needs more light. So if you notice that happening to one of your plants, try moving it to an area with more natural light or maybe closer to a window and see if that helps bring the color back. On the other hand, if you have brown spots or the color is fading and it's already really close to a window, it could actually be getting sunburned. So try moving it back a little bit, or you can put sheer curtains on your windows to kind of filter the light as it comes in. Another problem you might run into is stunted growth. So if it feels like the plant isn't growing very fast, the first thing you want to check is the pot. Some plants do like to have their roots kind of snug, but most of them like to have some room to breathe. So if you notice that there are roots coming out of the drainage holes or sticking out of the soil, or it just looks like the plant has kind of outgrown its pot, try sizing up and see if that helps. On the other hand, if you already have it in a big pot and it's still not growing very well, the pot could actually be a little too big. So if there's a lot of extra soil, that can soak up the water so that it's not reaching the roots like it needs to. You can try downsizing the pot or just give it a little extra water until the plant fills out more. One other issue with stunted growth can be low light. Even plants that say that they will survive in low light will generally do better if you give them a little bit more light. Snake plants are one that are famously easy to put just about anywhere. I have one in fluorescent lights in my office and another big one that's in kind of a darker corner of my living room. But this one is on a shelf next to a window, and it's definitely growing better than the others. This little offshoot only started about a month ago, and now it's about 3 inches high. So if you think that light might be the problem, try moving it closer to a window and see if it helps it grow. My hope for you is that your plants stay happy and healthy, but if you do notice an issue, hopefully this video can help you address it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave us a comment. Thanks for watching and happy planting.